Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jae Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Tim Sprinkle, the founder of Layup Content. Tim brings a unique blend of expertise as an author of the award-winning book, Screw the Valley, a seasoned content strategist, and a thought leader who's spoken at events like South by Southwest Interactive. Based in Denver, Colorado, Layup Content, founded in 2014, is transforming how financial service firms, venture capital, and tech companies stand out through hyper-targeted content and storytelling, helping clients raise over $1 billion in assets under management. We'll be exploring his founding story, how Layup Content empowers clients in regulated industries, and his vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So let's dive right in. Tim, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks, Jed. Great to be here.
Absolute pleasure having you on the show, Tim. Just incredible background. So really can't wait to dive in with you. So let's start at the very top, at the beginning for our listeners here, Tim. What specific problem in the content marketing landscape really inspired you to start Layup Content?
Well, sure. You mentioned the book and things like that. I was a journalist for a good long time, 15, 20 years. So I spent a lot of time on the other side of these conversations, hearing from banks, hearing from founders, hearing from VCs who were doing, frankly, a pretty terrible job of communicating their value prop. And it was a situation where everybody sounded the same, and I was getting the same pitch 40 times a day. And I knew there was a better way. And so for me, when I transitioned out of the journalism world, that's the problem. I feel like there's a lot of founders out there, a lot of that kind of financial services firms who don't know how to communicate. And that's what we do.
Love it. I love it. So with that there, obviously being that you have started in 2014, talk to us a bit about how Layup Content's offer has evolved since you started in 2014. So from who you're serving to what you're providing, how's it evolved to now?
That's a great question. The world was very different 11 years ago. So we did a lot more regulated communications in frankly, the early social media days. That was our value prop. That was our push, a lot of inbound marketing. That has evolved. It's evolving much faster now. But taking the idea of putting together a communications plan that works is one thing, and then personalizing that and really drilling down, making use of kind of what we have access to now is a really fun part of this journey. It's not just like posting blog posts and blasting out emails anymore. It really is very personal, very, very targeted, and that's when it gets exciting.
I love it. So with that in mind, definitely would want to get into a bit more of the nuts and bolts for our listeners, especially if we have listeners tuning in that really relate to what you're doing and want to come and work with you here, Tim. How are you really generating revenue today with Layup Content? Whether you're really breaking down the core offer there. I know that you have the digital content strategies, thought leadership, case studies. How is your core offer structured for your clients, and who do you really love to work with as far as your ideal client looks?
Yeah, to take one step back from that question, a lot of the folks we work with are venture capital firms, and the VC landscape exploded in the last 10 years from a couple thousand to tens of thousands. And so all of a sudden, there's a lot of people in the same space. And so our job is to help them kind of segment themselves. And so you mentioned the strategy. We do quite a bit of that where it's helping them determine what their offer is, what's unique about what they're selling, and then putting them in front of the right investors. So for us, it's a lot of inbound tools and things like that, but we do quite a bit of kind of what I consider just old-fashioned personalized marketing, where it is we build networks for these folks. We kind of help them strengthen the relationships they have. We do that through content. We do that through all kinds of other fun stuff, but it really is about taking the 100 million people out there in the world that might be interested in your offer, reeling that down to about 1,000 and really making them fans of yours.
Incredible. So really just being able to work with those VCs. Are VCs really the only clients you take, or is that just your focus there and you work with other businesses, or is it really just VCs?
We work with anyone in financial services. VC is a good example, but we do the same technique works for everybody.
Across the board there. I love it. Really just going in, consulting them, and being able to push out and grow their marketing side, have those digital content strategies. So just incredible being able to provide that in that niche for your clients. Obviously, what you guys are doing for your clients is really being able to build them a strong foundation, build their brand, get them consistency with acquisition. How does that look for you guys right now, Tim, as far as the acquisition side of things does go? So whether it's referrals from your successes in the past 11 years or ads that you're running for your clients, you're running for yourself, eating your own food on that sense, or anything around social media, organic, what's working best for you right now with the acquisition side?
Yeah, on our side, we've gone almost entirely referral last couple of years, in part because we're busy. We only work with so many folks, and there's a lot of need for this. And so we do quite a bit of referral business. We also do our own marketing, our own inbound. But for us, it really is about working with the right partners and with the right folks who are in the right place, the right headspace for this. And it takes a lot of buy-in from them. And so for us, referral folks that we've worked with before, folks who know kind of what we do, they come in ready to go. And that's always good to see.
Love it. I love it. It's super interesting on that side because obviously you are seeing so much success. And just with how many episodes I've done on the show and have so many different types of founders on, seeing a lot of success with the referral side, I would love to hear how you are thinking about and approaching scale. I know that you said you have a certain amount of clients that you like to work with. How do you look at scale? Obviously, with referrals, it's not really predictable with when you can get them in on a month-to-month basis. What is your thought process on approaching that side and having more predictability with those leads coming in?
Yeah, great question. Next 6 to 8 months or so, we're going to start eating our own dinner a little bit. And I mentioned the personalization aspect of it. What we can really deliver value for these folks is it's very hard to get someone to write you a check for $100,000, believe it or not. So having those relationships in place and kind of building that sort of thing takes some time, takes some work. It takes the personalization tools. It takes a lot of handholding. That is going to drive our marketing going forward. And we're going to be that for the kind of customers we want to work with. And so it's kind of show and not tell is where we're going.
Love it. I love it. So on that side of things, is going to be doing more around ads and really pushing out there, have that more predictability. So essentially what you're doing for your clients, you're going to really start pushing it internally as well to expand on that. With that being said, as far as the sales process goes, Tim, is this something that you're running front to end on your own when it comes to the sale, or do you have a sales team, marketing team, and a team behind you really pushing this forward, or are you running a lot of this on your own right now?
No, we do have a team on both sales and marketing sides to help logistically run this. Just to give you a quick, we have several funnels. That's how the personalization works. It depends who you are and where you come in. That gives you a different kind of experience. And so that's really cool, but it also takes a lot of time and a lot of kind of hand holding to run. So we do have a group kind of putting all this together, iterating as we go to see what works and what doesn't work. But for me, it's yes, it's a biz dev thing, but it's also really great lessons for kind of what we deliver to the clients down the road.
Absolutely love that. Tell me, with how you're looking at just everything as a whole right now in Layup Content and with the success and where you're trying to take it, what do you see or think about on a daily basis as far as a bottleneck does go for growth and scale, whether that be that lead generation side or converting those leads into clients or delivering services on the fulfillment side? Is there something on that front that you're thinking about right now?
To be totally honest, I'm sure you hear this all the time. It's what we sell, it's how we sell it. The ROI side for marketing is changing every month, every week, and how you measure what. We don't sell blog posts, we sell impressions and we sell conversions and we sell results for our clients. So the nuts and bolts of kind of what we're doing is fine. That's one thing, but how you prove out the value you're getting, that is changing and evolving quickly through AI and a whole bunch of other tools. And so we're trying to stay ahead of that. That's the bottleneck for me, is looking around the corner and seeing what's coming next for this space and kind of how we can get ahead of that.
That absolutely makes sense. With that, and with the thought process that you have there, Tim, what is your focus? I know that you mentioned eating your own food over the next 6 to 12 months, but really locked in if there's any specific revenue targets, impact goals, or just growth in general. What are you really laser focused on for the rest of the year going into 2026 to keep that growth and scale going there?
Yeah, I mentioned kind of working with the right partners, the right kind of clients, and that's really where my head is right now. The market broadly across financial services, it's a lot of different types of clients. Some are doing better than others. We could talk about all day about that, but I really want to be here, and we really want to kind of help serve those who are struggling right now. There are small operators, there are small funds, there are small groups that who are offering really valuable services and doing things in exciting new ways that aren't in a great spot, because I think a lot of folks aren't in a great spot. And we want to be there to kind of help them step up their messaging, step up their marketing, play in the deep end of the pool without spending a whole ton of money to do it. And that's for me, that's the mission side of this, is to help level up the democratization of financial services through this sort of tool set.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Hypothetically speaking, then, Tim, I would love to hear how you would go with this scenario. If we were able to bring a genie into the room, snap our fingers, provide you with unlimited resources right now, what are you implementing immediately into Layup Content's growth?
That's a great question. Really great question. I think for us, the capabilities of production and all the nuts and bolts that go in any sort of agency are there. We've done this a long time, which is horrible to admit. It's been 11 years, but we know what we're doing. What we don't necessarily know, some of the, and I don't think anyone does, it's the kind of market intelligence, the biz intelligence stuff to see what's coming next. I didn't get caught blindsided or flat-footed by AI. I saw that coming a couple of years ago, but I'm getting caught a little bit blindsided by what it's going to contribute to next. And I think a lot of people are having access to kind of insights and consumer feedback and that sort of thing is where my mind is now. I want to be able to know that what we're going to offer 6, 8 months down the line is going to be in demand and it's going to be valuable to as what we do now is. So that's the big trick, kind of having that sort of insights. And I don't think that any amount of money can buy that for us, which is a bummer, but it would be cool if it could.
Yeah, it definitely would be. And that's the biggest thing is really just try and stay ahead of that curve.
Mhm.
With that there, how do you see the evolution? If you could paint a picture, what do you see the content marketing industry going in the coming years, especially with your storytelling approach in these regulated sectors? How are you really positioning yourself to take advantage of that picture that you're seeing?
Simply put, the floor is going up. So it used to be you could have an intern who could post for you on Twitter and social every day or two. You could pump out some blog posts every now and then. Maybe once a month you put out a press release and you're good. Not anymore. That's the floor is well beyond that now. And I think that Gen AI and things like that are accelerating that transition away from that. But that has been happening for years. Just the junky content that's filling space isn't getting it done and it hasn't for a long time. I think the value in kind of where we go next from this is that, okay, the floor is raised. Yes, you've got all your content going, but in order to actually stand out and get some value out of it, you have to do better. You have to do more. And I mentioned the personalization stuff. That's an easy example, but there's a lot of other cool, fun stuff you can do to personalize yourself, personalize your brand. And that's where the fun is going to happen. That's where the real impact is going to be. And for us, that's our job is to find out where those opportunities are.
I mean, that's the biggest thing there is really just consistently growing with the
Mhm.
technology, especially with just the rampant pace that it's on. So many different types of founders that I have on the show, all really echoing the same thing is AI is here to stay. It's only getting better. We have to learn how to implement it, use it, stay ahead of it, right? And just really capture that technology to the best of our abilities. I would really love to know as far as a misconception goes that you hear about the content marketing space as a whole in regulated industries, especially around its value to financial services or its ability to drive a what's something on that front that you can address for the listeners?
As dumb as it sounds, and kind of the opposite of what I just said, is that the basics still work. Sending out an email once a month still works. When you're in the financial services space, you got to think about who their customers are, who their clients are, and they're not all 19-year-olds, so they're not on TikTok. So we need to be thinking broadly about kind of what works for that industry. As we're moving away from that generationally, sure, but like right now, yes, some of that stuff still works, and yes, you can still play that game, and it doesn't hurt you to take slow, cautious steps. And in finance, there's a lot of regulation, there's a lot of that sort of thing too. So you're working between two worlds. And so I have plenty of conversations about physical mailers, if you old school stuff like that. The landscape is opening up, but it doesn't mean that everything's changing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I just had one more question for you, more on a personal basis here, Tim, before I went into the lightning round for our listeners. And that's just really because of, again, having so many different types of personalities on the show. I love to hear about a moment where you felt like your back was up against the wall because so many founders have that moment where they feel like they almost gave up. Would love to hear from your aspect of you having that, especially as your early days as an author or what you're doing now or launching layup content. How did you push through that type of moment to get to where you are?
Yeah, the fun lesson I've experienced as an entrepreneur several times now is that the market dictates what I do. And
Yeah,
so when you're working in financial services, like for example, when interest rates start to go up, a lot of stuff changes on their side and they have to start pulling back. And so for me, it was a good that happened a couple of years ago. Lost a couple of clients as a result of their markets changing. And for me, it was a really good lesson in one resiliency, but also how we sell what we're talking, what we're doing, how we talk about what we're doing, the value we deliver has to be rock solid, and nothing else matters. And a lot of over the years, as a writer myself and all this sort of thing, a lot of what we delivered was our sales pitch was really high quality, really good stuff that you'd be proud. If I ghostwrite an article for you, you're gonna be proud to share that with your friends and family because it's gonna sound like you and it's gonna be awesome. And that is still our value prop, but it has to actually deliver the results. It can't just be really cool and impressive. And that's the big lesson for me. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, you build up again, you up stronger. And that's the lesson for me is to make sure everything is in the package and the whistles.
absolutely. So with that, I definitely would love to take us into a bit of a lightning round here, just to close out the show for our listeners. And on that front, definitely would want to hear from you here, Tim, as far as a tool or a resource goes, whether it's a content strategy insight or a lesson from your writing career or an AI tool that you're using. But what to this point has been just a game changer for layup content?
I think for us, the real game changer has been, and this is going to sound super lame, operations and process. Writers are great, but it's hard to kind of wrangle them. I've got dozens of them I work with on a regular basis, and keeping us all going in the same direction is tough. Putting together, it didn't used to be this way. There was always a lot more manual, but we have a whole kind of editorial process that runs, and their end product easier to deliver in higher quality, and it makes it easier on us. And that is bring as that sounds, that
Awesome, Tim. So with the lightning round here, I would love to know as far as a tool or resource side of things goes, whether it's a content strategy insight or a lesson from your writing career or an AI tool, what's just been a game changer for layup content this far?
Yeah, honestly, as boring as it sounds, is for us, it's operations and print process. Writers are great. It's hard to wrangle them, and I work with dozens of them all the time. And we discovered early on that getting kind of the product we need out of a whole host of different writers isn't easy. And so we have put together a whole editorial process that all of our writers go through it. Every project is kind of spelled out for them, and it's easier for them to deliver what we need. It's easier for us to deliver it to the client, and it works better. And so it took us a little too long to self-admittedly to figure that out. But now that we have that going, it's a big game changer for us.
And I think that's also super important, right? Because you want to have a sound process to be able to deliver on what you're good at, right? So having that set up internally, it just makes things so much smoother for when you are working with your clients. Things are set up properly. So it really makes sense. That has been the game changer there. So just want to wrap it up with one more question here for you, Tim. And this is going to be for our listeners. And that's going to be on the advice side. What's a piece of advice, especially with how long you've been in the game, how much success you are seeing? What can you offer to other founders and entrepreneurs listening in right now, especially those just starting out in their businesses or in the middle and really want to see that success that you're seeing? What can you give them before we wrap up?
It's a cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. Don't sell things, don't sell a service, sell the result. And so I'm not selling blog posts, I'm selling views and growth on your side. And again, it took me a long time to figure that out, but I think that the days of being able to, for example, in my world, you sell a piece of content or sell a video or whatever it is, are over. You need to be always thinking about how this is going to benefit your client. And that's how you think about it. That's how they think about it. And that opens up the world of what you can deliver because it gives you a lot of options. But that's critical. The days are long gone where it's easier to sell that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Tim, just want to thank you again for coming on the show, sharing your incredible journey with us and your insights, and really being able to give us a look at as to how you've been able to operate so successfully and clear as day why you're seeing that success. Super excited to see what you can continue to do in the coming years in the space. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You can also check out Layup Content at wearelayup.com to learn more about their content strategy services and follow Tim on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Tim Sprinkle. For more resources and insights, visit closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.